Hey everyone, how are you today? So, dry shampoo is one of my favorite things in the entire world. I have incredibly greasy, very flat, fine hair, so it is truly a lifesaver for me. I am beyond grateful that I'm alive during the dry shampoo era, my friends. I have a ton of dry shampoos that I have used in the past, and I have reviews for you today. I am really excited about it, so I hope that you enjoy. Make sure that you leave your favorite dry shampoos in the comment section so that I can try them out. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and come check out my channel and subscribe if you haven't already. All right, so since I have a ton, let's go ahead and jump into it. The first one that I want to talk about is my least favorite. This is the Aussie Total Miracle 7-in-1 dry shampoo. First of all, the smell is horrible. It smells like grape cough syrup for children. No one wants to smell like that. And unfortunately, it is not just the smell that is horrendous. I truly, truly dislike this with a fiery passion. I don't think that it does the job that it's supposed to do. I don't think that it is super absorbent. I think that it looks like you sprayed way too much hairspray in your hair, or that you have like way too much product buildup. You know what I'm saying? It makes things crusty and ugh. I'm not exaggerating, you guys. It's like it's sticky. You can't get your fingers through it. It does absolutely nothing. It really gives you that look like you've got too much hairspray in. So like, no, that doesn't make you look not greasy. It makes you look wet. I'm sorry, Aussie, but I would not recommend this. I wouldn't. If this was the last dry shampoo on earth, I wouldn't tell you to go get it. Okay, next I want to talk about the Not Your Mother's Clean Freak Refreshing Dry Shampoo. I overall really enjoy this dry shampoo. I think that the smell is pretty good. It's not my favorite smell. It's not a smell that I would like seek out. It's decent though. It's mature. It's not fruity or anything like that. It's not a smell that I'm familiar with, but yeah, it's not a bad smell. As far as volume goes, I love the volume that this gives me, and I find it to be lasting volume as well. And because this does give volume to your hair, it is going to make it feel a little bit dirty. I always find with dry shampoos that those that give really, really good volume do make your hair feel different at the root. It feels a little bit dirty. You can definitely tell there's product in there. It's a little bit gritty, you know what I'm saying? But I find this one to be a very good balance. It doesn't make my hair feel too dirty. I can still get my fingers through it, still brush it, all that good stuff. But it also does give me lasting volume, so that is a wonderful feature of this. It does have a white cast, so when you spray it in your hair, you can see visible white powder, but as you brush it out, you can handle it. I would say if you have darker hair than mine, that you might want to use this before bed, and make sure that you definitely brush it, massage it into the scalp really well, because this one does leave a pretty noticeable white cast in my hair. But again, like I said, this is super absorbent. It gets the job done. Looks really, really good, and it is a pretty good price. This is about $5 for 7 ounces. Of all the dry shampoos I'm reviewing today, you get the most product with this one, so this is a really good bang for your buck. It's one of my favorites from the drugstore. Okay, next up we're going to be talking about the Elizabeth and James Nirvana White Dry Shampoo. I have the black bottle, but I actually used the white version. I just want you to know, my girlfriend used the black version. I used the white version, but this is the only one I have, but I wanted to be able to show you something, so just pretend that this is white. The outstanding feature of the Elizabeth and James Nirvana White is going to be the smell for me. But it smells like peonies, which is a fabulous smell in my opinion. As far as volume, I did not get a ton of volume from this dry shampoo. Like I said, if a dry shampoo doesn't give a ton of a volume, it tends to make my hair feel more clean, kind of like I just got out of the shower and used real shampoo. So yeah, this one did not give me a lot of volume, but it did make my hair feel very clean, like that fresh out of the shower feel. I didn't get a ton of oil absorbency from this. It just wasn't the best for me. Like I said, I have super, super oily hair. I didn't get as much absorbency as I needed for my super greasy hair, you know what I mean? And another big problem that I had with this is that it just fell out of my hair. And this is really strange. I've never had this happen with an aerosol dry shampoo other than this one. After I sprayed it in my hair and worked it around a bit like you do with a dry shampoo, the white cast that would normally be in my hair ended up all over my clothes. And I do not have time to deal with that, especially considering that this is the most expensive dry shampoo on my list. It is $14 for 1.3 ounces or $28 for 4.4 ounces. So just as a comparison, we got 7 ounces of one of my favorite dry shampoos from the drugstore for $5. And then we're getting 4.4 ounces of this dry shampoo that I'm really not fond of for $28. Okay? 28. You can get a lot of stuff for $28. I'm just saying. The next dry shampoo that I'm going to talk about is the Living Proof Perfect Hair Day. First thing, my favorite thing about this dry shampoo is the smell. I absolutely adore the smell of the Living Proof products in general. Give it to me. I think it is a delicious, delicious smell. I do think that the absorbency is pretty good as well. It's not as good as, say, the Not Your Mother's, but it is nowhere near like the Elizabeth and James. This does actually stay in my hair and absorb my oils. If you are one of those people who really hates the feeling of gritty dry shampoo, this is absolutely the best dry shampoo for you. It does its job of absorbing oil. It really refreshes the smell of your hair and gives the most actually clean feel and smell and even look to the hair. A lot of dry shampoos can do just that and dry out your hair, make it feel kind of stringy and stuff. This one makes your hair feel really good. It really does mimic the just got out of the shower situation. And as far as the white cast goes, I do not have a super huge white cast with this. Anything that does white cast into my hair, it's very easy to get out. So I think this would work for people with darker hair as well. So overall, I think this is a really, really good one. For 1.8 ounces of this one, it costs $12, and for 4 ounces of this one, it costs $22, and these are American dollars we're working with here. Okay, next we are going to talk about the Amika Perk Up Dry Shampoo. This is the Sea Buckthorn Berry. Overall, I think this is a really, really good dry shampoo, though it does have one major drawback for me. As far as absorbency, this works really, really well. This does exactly what it is supposed to do as a dry shampoo. It makes your hair feel clean, but also gives you a little bit of volume. I would say that of all of the dry shampoos, this one gives you the most volume while also keeping your hair feeling clean. However, this doesn't create a ton of lasting volume on me. So while I do enjoy that initial volume, it does fall as time goes on. The white cast on this is pretty incredible. There's barely any noticeable white cast, and anything that you do see, you can easily get rid of. So again, this is something that I would recommend to people with even darker hair than mine. And mine is it looks pretty dark on camera, but it's actually it's a very mousy kind of taupe with some ashy blonde mixed in, and the blonde is pretty dirty blonde. So like I said, even if you have darker hair than that, this will work for you, I think. Again, this makes my hair feel very clean, similar to the Living Proof one. If you don't like the feeling of dry shampoo in your hair, I think you would still like this one, especially if you want to add a little bit of volume as well. As far as the price, you get 5.3 ounces for $22, which makes it pretty affordable as far as a higher end dry shampoo goes, specifically for the dry shampoos in this collection that I am talking about. The major drawback here for me is the smell. It has a very powerful and overwhelming smell, and for me, that smell is the smell of my orthodontist. It smells like Lysol to me. The original version of that classic disinfecting Lysol, that is all I smell when I spray this. I have been hearing a lot of people talk about it, and the reviews on the Sephora website are pretty high, so I think this is a dry shampoo that would work for a lot of people as long as the smell didn't bother them. Next on my list is the fabulous and original cornstarch, baby. I do get volume from it. I get volume that it does fall throughout the day, but I really do get a slight lasting volume when I use cornstarch, definitely more than I would have on your average day. So I like that. As far as absorbency, it is wonderfully absorbent for me. When my hair is at its greasiest, I can always count on cornstarch. I love that there is no smell. You know, it gives you total control over what is going on in your hair. So like if you're going to use a lot of other products, then the smells won't be clashing and interfering. I think that that is a wonderful thing. As far as how this feels in your hair, you can tell absolutely that there is a powder in your hair. You can feel it sitting at the root, and honestly, it makes it a little bit harder to wash your hair. All that product buildup sitting at the root. Sometimes I have to condition my hair before I shampoo it just so that I can actually get my shampoo in there when I'm using cornstarch, because it is a very heavy duty product that works very, very well. I really like the combination of volume and clean that it gives to my hair. The white cast is very, very strong. So what I do with cornstarch, I use it as more of an absorbency element. Put it in my hair before bed, sleep on it like that, and then in the morning I'll use real dry shampoos and stuff like that. And the cornstarch will oil absorb overnight so that my hair can't get to that point where I'm having to use tons and tons and tons of expensive dry shampoo. I wouldn't use it before I did something really important, before I filmed or anything like that, because like I said, the white cast is very strong and it's harder to get rid of than most dry shampoos. One of the best selling points of dry shampoo is that it is so incredibly cheap. One drawback for me is that sometimes it can dry out my scalp a little bit, and sometimes I can see little flecks of cornstarch. So definitely take note of that. And if you have darker hair, I would recommend it before bed. You know, you're going to have to play around with it because it is going to be more difficult for you to manage cornstarching as your dry shampoo. I always fall back on this. This is one of my favorites. I'll probably use this for the rest of my life. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the Lush No Drought. And really quickly, I want to mention, because I just talked about the cornstarch, and I use this in the same way that I use my cornstarch, and that is in like a little jar or a little cup, and with an old like giant powder brush. There's some hair sticking off of it. I'm sorry if that grosses you out. It totally grosses me out. But this is really great because you can just work it through your hair on a powder brush. I got that tip from my friend Robin from Robin's Cup of Tea. I talk about her in every single video that I do. It makes it so much easier to distribute products like this, which are like free powders, through the hair. And I will also do that with cornstarch. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just use my hands for cornstarch. But this is a really awesome way to apply cornstarch as well. As far as the smell goes on this one, I don't particularly love it. The actual smell is lime and grapefruit, but to me, I'm gonna be real, it smells like old rotten lime. Like, I'm not in love with it. This is preservative free and vegan. It's also 100% natural, though I will say that it has talc in it, which I was surprised about. And I haven't mentioned talc. You'll have to decide what you think of talc as an ingredient, so make sure you do your own research about that. I do like this one. I feel that it works. I do not like it as well as cornstarch. I'd rather just put plain cornstarch in my hair. It does have a white cast, just like the cornstarch, but you can brush it, you can get it out. I find it easier to get out than actual just cornstarch because this does have some other ingredients in it as well. And remember when I said I could kind of see cornstarch in my hair, like I would see little cornstarch specks? That doesn't happen as much as with this one. It does feel a little bit dirty, it does feel a little bit gritty, but again, it does give me some volume to work with, and not an incredibly lasting volume and not an incredibly dirty feeling in my head. It does absorb those excess oils. It does give a little bit of refreshing scent, but again, not my favorite. There are just things that I like better as far as smells go. And you know, one major drawback to this is that it isn't as easy to use. It does fly around everywhere, kind of gets things more messy. There's white powder all over the place. That is something to think about, and you might say, well, Carter, you just said you do that with the cornstarch and you still like it, and that is accurate. The cornstarch is like $1, and this is $16 for the big bottle. So this is the 4.6 ounce bottle, and it cost $15.95 on the Lush website. You're paying a lot more to make a mess with this than you are to make a mess with your cornstarch. Up to you, but I'm just saying. All right, guys, we are almost done. The next one that I want to talk about is the Bumble & Bumble BB Pret powder. I truly love the way that this one smells. Let me see. Did I write down the notes? Nectarine, vanilla, orchid, musk, and amber. I think that this smells really, really fantastic. Again, mature and subtle, but delicious. I love the way that this smells. These two have the same first ingredient, which is Zea maize, and then they say in parentheses, cornstarch. So this leads me to believe that these all kind of have the same base of cornstarch, and that makes me not want to pay as much for these because, like I said, cornstarch is incredibly affordable, but this is not just a dry shampoo, so this also will give you some volume, and it says it's supposed to extend your style, and it also gives you some texture. The applicator of this is different. Like I said, for this one, I use it with this, but it just comes in like one of these bottles where you just kind of pour it out. But I do like this packaging better. This is a little bit hard to get out of the bottle, which in some ways is really good because it's something that you're kind of using for your style at the root. Now, of course, it will absorb some of your oils, but I would never just go in with this and be like, okay, this is my dry shampoo for the day, because like I said, the hole for getting it out is just so small that you would be forever sitting there trying to get your entire head saturated with this stuff. Does this create volume in my hair? Yes, it does. It creates volume at the root that I very much like. It is not a super lasting volume. I would say that just using the cornstarch gives me a similar lasting volume to this, but I really do like the feeling in my hair. It gives a really nice grit, a nice hold that really makes my styles last longer, just like it's supposed to. It holds on to my curl better, and it gives me some texture. It does leave a white cast. Like, I'll show you. I'm not scared. As you can see, when I shake it out of the bottle onto my hair, it goes in a very distinct area because of that small little applicator. And then, so as you can see, there is a white cast, but as you shake it away, you can get rid of it. I prefer it more for styling than I do for dry shampooing, but it really does have its perks, and one of them is oil absorption. The price of this one, you can get 2 ounces of it for $27. This is the 2-ounce bottle right here. And then you can get 0.3 ounces of it in a travel size for $13. Is that right? Like, do I need to check that? I'm going to check it because it's just 0.3 ounces for half the price. I mean, really? That is accurate. You can get 0.3 ounces of this for $13, and you can get 2 full ounces of it for $27. This is the Herbal Essence Bio Renew Volume Dry Shampoo. This one smells like grapefruit and mint. I love the smell of this one. It's minty and refreshing and also a little bit citrusy. I wouldn't have gone right up to it and been like, oh, grapefruit for sure, but I can definitely tell that there's citrusy notes in it. I really like this one as well. If you are one of those people who does not like the way that your hair feels dirty with dry shampoo, like that gritty feeling, you're not gonna like this one. But there are some really awesome things about this. It is paraben and gluten-free. Again, there is no talc, which some of you might be worried about, maybe not, I'm not sure, but the absorbing agent is tapioca starch, and it works very well. Does this have a white cast? Yes, it does. When you initially spray it on, I can see a white cast, but it is another one of those where once I massage it through and brush my hair out and everything, I'm absolutely fine. I can't say how this would be on darker hair colors. I don't want to say because I'm unsure with this one. It is going to be very absorbent. All of your grease is going to go away, and that's going to be wonderful. But for this one, I do get lasting volume, and I can run my fingers through my hair, which is a really good perk for me because I do want volume from a dry shampoo, like I said, but I also want to be able to have my hair feel like my actual hair. I want to be able to throw it up in a ponytail. I want to run my fingers through it. Again, like the Not Your Mother's Clean Freak dry shampoo, I like the balance that this one offers of lasting large amounts of volume and the level of dirtiness that my hair feels. But I will say that this one is up there in the dirtiness. I've learned to handle how it feels when your hair doesn't feel like that super clean, because the volume for me and the texture for me that comes with dry shampoo is worth it. I would definitely repurchase, and I truly do love the smell of this one. So those are all of the dry shampoos that I have for you today. I hope that that was helpful for you guys. Don't forget to leave your favorite dry shampoos down below in the comments section, because obviously I want to know. As you can tell, I'm a dry shampoo junkie. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and come check me out and subscribe if you would like to. I will see you guys very soon, and until then, have a wonderful day. Bye!